Hello students, welcome to our first discussion on the chapter of random networks. In this discussion, we are going to talk about introduction to random networks, what are the random network models that can help us express these systems in some mathematical form, what are the link and degree distribution and associated statistics with these characteristics or topological characteristics of these networks, how random networks evolve, or what are the key regimes that are present in random networks, how do they compare to real world networks, and we will try to answer the question that are real world networks that we see around us are really random networks or something else. Then we will discuss a very important property called a small world property, which is a typical characteristic of many networks that we see around us. And finally, we will end up our discussion with clustering coefficients of random networks and how they compare to real world systems. So to begin with an introduction, let us go back to our example that we discussed in our online interaction, that let's have a party. When you go to a party, you will see that people try to identify their closest friends and organize into small groups and try to have interaction with them. And this would be a typical snapshot of a party at t equal to 0. However, as party progresses, you start sharing your name, your interest, say hi, hello to other friends whom you see around, and at the end, at some time equal to n, you see that a kind of a random interactions or a random graph evolve based on the interactions that you are mapping in that particular party. And Ardosh and Rennie and the scientist Gilbert, who was working around on social graphs or random graphs at that time, identified that these kind of networks or interactions can be explained by something called as random network models, and we will try to get a mathematical feel that what these random network models are, how to express them mathematically, and how we can measure some key statistics of such networks. Before we go into more details of mathematics, let us define that what these network models are. The two key definitions or mathematical definitions of random network are, that is, we can specify random network with n nodes and L links. So you tell me the number of nodes and links, we should be able to construct a random graph named as GNL. Another model is GN, and we call this as a GNL model. Another model is GNP model, where we say that each pair of node has probability P of being connected. Probability P of being connected. Let us say that you have this pair of node, that probability that there exists a link would be P. To have a 100% guarantee that there would be a link, this P should be equal to 1. To be 100% sure that there is no link between a pair of node, P has to be equal to 0. However, for most of the real world systems, as you can imagine, this P is generally between 0 and 1, and we try to characterize the systems or the density, network density of the systems based on these values of P for the random networks. Now, which model we would go with? GNL or GNP? We would start with GNP model because of two reasons. First of all, GNP offers greater mathematical convenience, as working with probabilities would be much easier than working directly with the number of links, because one of our objectives of network science is to reproduce the properties of real world networks. And when we talk about reproducing the properties of a real world network, that we are interested in understanding the underlying statistics that are shaping up these systems. Hence, we need to express these graphs or networks as some mathematical entities and do some mathematical operation. So mathematical convenience would be important. Second thing is that in real world systems, we would often know that probabilities of connections rather than knowing exact number of links. Hence, GNP model is more realistic and it allows us to calculate key network characteristics on real world system, and we can draw analogies much easier. Now that you understand that what this GNP and GNL models are, and in random networks, what we are doing, we are trying to have certain links placed randomly by following certain law of statistics. And this is exactly what shape up a random network. And to construct our first random network, let us take a small example. That is, you want to construct a random network with n nodes, and probability of connection between a given pair of nodes is p. So how to proceed about that? So what we will do, we will select a pair of nodes out of all possible combinations, that is from n into n minus 1 to possible edges that are possible. We take any one pair of node, we select a random number between 0 and 1, and if this random number is greater than p, the probability from where we started, we will say that yes, there should be an edge or link between the pair of nodes chosen. If Rn is less than p, then there should not be no edge or link between the pair of node that you have chosen. And we repeat this process for all the possible pairs, that is n into n minus 1 divided by 2 times. And the resulting network that we obtain from this procedure is called as a random graph or random network. And based on the pioneering work by Paul Ardosh and Alfred Rennie, we also refer to these networks as ER networks sometimes. And now you can imagine why this is a random network. You take a pair of nodes, do a coin toss, not a coin toss really, but some sampling from a distribution. And if this random number is greater than p, that you get an edge. Otherwise, there is not an edge. Similarly, when we try to think of it in terms of a real world system, we say that for each system with a given number of nodes, there is always some associated probability of connections between a pair of nodes without assigning any preference or any fitness to a node, that whether there is some preference you would want to connect to a particular friend, or you would want to connect to a particular website or a search engine. That is exactly why these networks are called as random networks, because your interactions are shaping up randomly. And whenever we are talking about something which is random in nature, we know that we have to deal with probabilities. And when we deal with probabilities, we can only come up with the estimates of mean, variance, and higher order moments, which I would say as Kn for time being. But the individual shape of these networks would be very different from each other. So let us say that this is network 1, this is network 2, and this is network 3. And in background, they have same number of nodes and same probability of connection between a pair of nodes. However, if you look at their snapshot, they would look entirely different because of the same randomness, or the method that we are generating these network has some randomness associated with that, and hence they would not be a similar photograph of each other. Hence, one thing that should be very clear into our mind is that we would be dealing with the statistics of these random networks, and we can never infer the precise numbers of nodes or edges or other statistics associated with degrees and such precisely. So let us start with number of links that we have to deal with. So let us try to answer a question that given a graph or a network with specified n and p, what is the probability that we would have exactly L links? Now, let us try to think it of with a simple example. You are doing a coin toss n number of times, and you define success as getting a head and failure as getting a tail. You want exactly m successes out of all possible and m successes out of n trials. So you can write that probability of getting exactly m successes is n choose m, that is out of n possibilities we only choose m, probability of m successes, p into p up to m times, and probability of n minus m failures, 1 minus p times. And this would specify our distribution of getting exactly m successes, and you know that this is called as binomial distribution. And we will apply the same thinking here. That is, we want exactly L links, and we know that in theory n into n minus 1 by 2 links are possible, and we want to choose only L successes with probability p raised to power L coming from the same analogy, and this would be 1 minus p raised to power n into n minus 1 by 2 minus L. Now this is called as I mentioned, this is called as a binomial distribution, and hence it will follow all the rules of a typical binomial distribution. And once we know a distribution, we can always calculate what is the mean of this distribution, and hence what is the expected number of links, what is the variance associated with number of links, and even some higher order statistics associated with, let us say, L to the power n, which would be of little interest, at least in this particular chapter. So we will focus our discussions on L and sigma square. Now we know that if a particular distribution is a binomial distribution with np, we can specify it as binomial with np, and its mean would be equal to np, and its variance would be equal to np into 1 minus p. Now this is part of the basic statistics, and I have posted a link in our description where you can see the exact derivation, how you can derive mean and variance for known n and p. But in our case, we will use this result directly, that in our case we are getting a binomial distribution where small n is equal to number of nodes times number of nodes minus 1 divided by 2 and known probability. Hence we can say that average number of links we can expect would be equal to n into n minus 1 by 2 multiplied by p. Also in previous video, we learned that if we know the average number of edges or exact number of edges in a network, we can always work out on average degree, which is given by 2 times L upon n, and hence we can plug in this value of L here, and we say that average degree would be given by 2 into n minus 1 times p upon 2n. These two cancels out, so this would be the n minus 1 by p. Now if you see a boundary condition, if p equal to 1, then what happens to average k? Average k would become n minus 1. That means if there is a 100% chance that every pair of node would have a connection between them, then we would expect that average degree, if self-looping is not allowed, would be equal to n minus 1. Similarly, if p is equal to 0, average degree would be 0. That means all these nodes will exist in isolation, and hence no network exists. So that means this validates our basic intuitive thinking, that what this average number of links and average number of links and average degree would mean. So let us write these results clearly here, that we can write average k as n minus 1 by n minus 1 times p, or p is equal to average k upon n minus 1. This would be a very important result that we will use time and again. Similarly, we can also mention that average L is equal to n into n minus 1 times 2. Now, as we did for number of links, we can also look into the average, the expected degree of each node. That is, we are interested to determine the degree distribution or probability that a given node has a degree k. Again, we will apply the same analogy. That is, let us say that we are in a network which has n nodes, and we want this node, which is highlighted in red, to have exactly k connections. And when self-looping is not allowed, you can see that this node can have, if the size of this entire network is n, this node can has can have at most n minus 1 connections, and we want from n minus 1 to have exactly k connections realized. So we can write probability of k as n minus 1 choose k, probability of each connection times k, 1 minus p, n minus 1 minus k, and this is the binomial distribution expressing the degree distribution of each node. That is, if you say that I know that this network has 1000 nodes and I know that the probability of connection is 0.4, and somebody asks you what is the probability of a node having degree equal to 3, so you can simply say that it would be 999 C k, which would be 3, probability would be 0.4 raised to power 3 multiplied by 1 minus p, in this case would be 0.6 raised to power 7, and when you simplify it you can get the probability of k equal to 3, k equal to 1, k equal to 4, and so on after substituting different values all the way up to k equal to 999, and you can get some distribution around this particular network. Now one thing is there, when we are dealing with binomial distribution, it is little bit cumbersome to calculate these factorials time and again, especially when you are dealing with such a large numbers. So what we will do, we will look into some statistics that can we have a distribution which has easier statistics to follow but can approximate binomial distribution for n much greater than average k, which is observed in many of the real world system. And this math would be little bit evolving, but try to look into that, as we will replace binomial distribution with the Poisson distribution in our next discussions. Hence this particular derivation is very important to pay attention to. So we can write this probability of k as n minus 1 choose k, probability of having k connections 1 minus p, n minus 1 minus k. Now we will try to simplify this and this term and try to come up with a new expression of probability distribution. You know that this n minus 1 choose k can be written as n minus 1 into n minus 2 all the way to n minus 1 minus k plus 1, and all the terms after n minus 1 minus k will vanish, because in denominator you will also have n minus 1 minus k and k factorial, because we are solving this combinatorics. Now we started with an assumption that n is much greater than k and n is also greater than k, which is the degree that we are expecting in this case. So we can say that n minus 1 ck can be approximated as n minus 1 raised to power, how many terms would be here? We would have around n minus 1 raised to power k terms upon k factorial. So we have simplified some part of this expression using the expansion of this combinatorics that we write as n minus 1 ck. So this is done. Let us move to the second part, which is about 1 minus p n minus 1k. Let us try to simplify it. We will work with the log of this. As you can see, as soon as we take log of 1 minus p raised to power n minus 1 minus k, we can write it as n minus 1 minus k times log of 1 minus p. And now we know that this log of 1 minus p can be written as log of 1 minus k upon n minus 1, because we just derived that average degree is equal to p into n minus 1, and hence p can be substituted as average k upon n minus 1. Also, we know that from binomial expansion, log of 1 plus x can be written as x minus x square by 2 plus x cube by 3, and so on, as long as x is less than 1. Even in this case, you see that average k is much less than n minus 1, Hence we can expand this log of 1 minus p in the same form, and all the higher powers will vanish because again this number is much smaller than 1. So log of 1 minus p can be approximated. This is just an approximation when you have a very large network and number of nodes are very large in comparison to number of comparison to the degree of individual nodes or average degree that we are talking about, which comes from our real world observations. So we can write this as minus k upon n minus 1. If we bring back the entire term, that is log of 1 minus p raised to power n minus 1k now can be approximated as n minus 1k multiplied by minus k upon n minus 1. Again, n minus 1 minus k is comparable to n minus 1 if n is much larger than k. So we can write 1 minus p n minus 1 minus k as e raised to power minus k. So this is the another simplification that we are able to do here. Now going back, we have simplified this term, and we will replace this p by k upon average k upon n minus 1. Hence we end up with probability of k of the form n minus 1 raised to power k upon k factorial multiplied by average k raised to power k upon n minus 1 raised to power k. If we replace that p raised to power k with average k divided by n minus 1, and we multiply it by last term which we have simplified as e raised to power minus k. Now if you combine all these things, we end up with pk in simplified form as e raised to power minus k average k raised to power k upon k factorial. And now if you compare it with the form of Poisson process with parameter lambda, it is also given by e to the power minus lambda to the power x upon x factorial. So Poisson process says that probability of observing certain x, given that we know a parameter lambda, is e to the power minus lambda to the power x upon x factorial, and these two expressions are exactly similar. So if you replace this lambda with minus k, or lambda with k, not even minus k, and x is equivalent to k, you end up with the Poisson approximation of a binomial distribution. However, this approximation is only valid if n is much larger than k of individual nodes and average k is much smaller than n. Only then we can apply this approximation. However, the beauty of this process or the Poisson process is that in case of Poisson process, your mean is equal to lambda and your variance is also equal to lambda, and it offers a great mathematical convenience, and it is also a continuous distribution. Now one can argue that how degrees can be in decimal. Yes, we agree, and we say that this is just to offer the mathematical convenience, and once we know this and once we have this continuous distribution as a replacement or a proxy for the discrete distribution, our mathematical simplifications become easy. And throughout the literature, you will see that probability of k in case of random graphs is often given by the formula e raised to power minus k upon k raised to power k, where 1k is the average of degrees, upon k factorial. And you see that when your number of nodes are way higher than average degree, there is no distinguishing between the distribution approximated from binomial or Poisson process. However, for lesser number of nodes, let us say 100, you clearly see that there is no overlap between the approximation, because the assumption that n is much greater than k is violated, and hence this particular distribution is only to be used when your average degrees are much lower than the networks, and we are talking about the magnitude difference of hundreds. That is, if your average degree is 3 and number of nodes you have are 10,000 or 20,000 or maybe 6,000, so that's the order of difference that we are talking for this particular assumption. So again, go through the steps. This will give you some confidence that how you can convert one distribution into another by applying some reasonable assumptions,